you do when the man that you're attracted to tells you that he just wants to be friends? When you found yourself right in the middle of the friend zone, and what you really want is a real romantic relationship with him. Well, I get emails about this exact situation all the time from viewers wondering why he says he just wants to be friends, or what to do when they find themselves stuck in the friend zone like this. Here's one that captures this frustration completely. She writes, "About 6 months ago, I met a guy. He had been out of an 8-year relationship. He was engaged for about a year and was looking to move on in his life. I had been in and out of bad short-term relationships. We had a rough start because I couldn't trust anyone and he was not yet over his ex. We dated for about 3 months and it ended because we were both not truly ready for a real, true relationship. We had no contact for about 2.5 months. I finally contacted him because I missed him, and he says he misses me too. However, he said he's not ready for a relationship. He doesn't want me out of his life completely, and I want to be friends with him also. We got along great and have a lot in common. We respect each other a lot and can have a great friendship. I'm scared because I still love him and I may end up wanting more. I really don't know how to go about this or what to do. Many coaches say to leave if a guy says he's not looking for a relationship, but I'm happier being his friend than not having him in my life at all. I think I'm just scared. What do you recommend I do?" Sound familiar? I think we've all been in a situation like this at one time or another. I know I have. So before I get into my response, I want to hear from you. Pause the video right here and let me know in the comments below if you've ever been stuck in the dreaded friend zone when you've wanted a romantic relationship. Even if it's just a yes, been there, or no, hasn't happened to me, I want you to see how you're not alone, and then go ahead and click the subscribe button while you're there so you don't miss any of my future videos. What this is really about is what you can and can't live with without fooling yourself into believing that you're okay with less than what you really want just because you want to be with him. What I always say when I get this question is that it comes down to knowing what his terms are and, more importantly, what being with him on his terms is worth to you. So the question for you is whether you'd rather be with him on his terms to at least have something with him, which is friendship right now, so this is the reality of what is right now. Or whether this kind of setup is so not aligned with anything about where you're at, so you'd rather release yourself from him so you can focus fully on being with someone who wants the whole package that you want, even if it means he won't be in your life. What can you live with? Whatever he's doing or isn't doing, whatever you want him to do that he can't do, you're not going to change him. As much as you want him to change, to make a commitment to you, to do something different, the reality is that you are not going to change him. And no amount of loving him is going to change him. So this ultimately comes down to you. You need to ask yourself some tough questions here. What are you willing to put up with? What is he worth to you? What does having him in your life on these terms, his terms, mean to you? Would you rather have him in your life as he is, not as you want him to be, but exactly as he is, because this is all he's capable of right now, if it means keeping him in your life? Or do you need that commitment from him or whatever else you want from him more than him? Is it a deal breaker for you? Can you live with him like this, or does this cross your own boundaries? Do you see what I'm getting at here? First, you really have to know yourself well enough to answer these questions. You have to know what your own boundaries are, what your limits are, and what you will and won't consider, and what you consider to be deal breakers for you. See, no one else is you. Your friends and family and anyone else will have their own opinions and answers to these questions you're asking, but none of that really matters. It's about you. And this is all about you. It's your life. It's your dream. It's your vision. It's your happily ever after that you're looking for. And you're going to have different needs and make different choices to get those different needs met than anyone else. But you have to first define them and know yourself well enough so that you can make these decisions based on the reality of who you are and what you want your life to look like. So what if he's all that? What if he's everything that you've always wanted in a partner, husband, soulmate, but he won't or can't or doesn't know if he can make a commitment to you? What do you do with that? What if he just wants to be friends? What if this is all you get right now? Well, you dig deep within yourself and you find out what you really feel about this. You have to think through the implications and make your decision based on that reality and not on the romantic ideal that you're going to change him. Because you're not going to change him. No matter how much you love him, love alone does not change someone. So what if he doesn't want to ever get formally married or whatever it is you want with him, but he says he'll be the equivalent of whatever that is, but you want the real thing? What if, as another example, what if he doesn't want children, but you do? You do not want to go into this thinking you're going to change him. You're not. And then what if you've got the case where his career is always going to be his number one priority and not you? What are you willing to trade for that? Because there will always be trade-offs. The one with the career priority will probably always have enough money to buy you those things that you've always dreamed of, but he won't be home with you to enjoy them. So what then? Are you willing to accept that trade-off? I'm covering a lot more than just friends here because they're all related. My point here is that so often we feel so not in control of our relationships because of something he will or won't do, when in reality, we are the ones who have all the control. If we just realize that, if we just realize we can make our own decisions based on what we know and who we are, and then the control really is back in our own hands. It is not all up to him. If he won't commit, if he just wants to be friends, then take back control by choosing to stay or leave based on the person you are, not him. If you still want to be with him and he's worth being with on these terms, because you really do care about him and want him in your life, then make a life for yourself and have your own life independent of him. If that is what you decide is the trade-off to keeping him in your life and you decide he's worth that much to you, you're in control here. Really, you are. It's just so much easier to let him decide, to push him for an answer, than to see that you already have everything you need to know to make a decision. And this isn't about waiting around for him. It's about you taking back control of you and moving on with your life forward in spite of him. I know this isn't easy. I know that these dilemmas often feel like there is no favorable outcome, but there is one. It's one that you choose. It's one that releases you from living like this, from looking to someone else to make the decisions. Because you will find that when you take that step, when you choose, when you move ahead like this, instead of spending your time talking and talking some more and waiting some more for your life to begin, with him when he's finally ready, if he's ever ready, that in taking back control of your life, you set in motion an energy that can't be explained. You have that energy. It's the energy of a woman who knows who she is and what she wants and isn't afraid to make a decision, even if she doesn't know what the full outcome of that decision will be, even if it wasn't supposed to be this way. And a woman with that kind of confidence, that kind of strength, is a woman that is about as attractive as we come. Because in doing so, you find that the place inside that sees you can do this, that missing piece, that part of you that won't die without him, that doesn't need him to say yes or no or give some kind of answer in order for you to move ahead. And that is something amazing when you try it, even the first time, and find out just how much life moves to greet you and love shows up to follow you. Because a woman who knows herself like this and moves through her fear like this to the other side is more than confident. She's irresistible. It sounds like you've already answered this question for yourself when you say, but I'm happier being his friend than not having him in my life at all. My concern here is that we can convince ourselves that we can do this, that we can be with someone on their terms if that's the only way to have them in our lives, when really we're staying in the hoping mode, wishing he'll come around, all the while still pining for him to the detriment of ourselves. It is really, really hard to avoid the toll that it takes on our self-esteem, knowing that someone can be with us on friendship terms and not want more. To see him with us as a friend and not being attracted to us can really do a number on how worthy we feel as a woman and even as a human being. Instead of leaving that with him and letting that be his issue, we have a tendency to take that so personally on ourselves and let it affect our confidence and our self-worth, believing that there's something wrong with us, that he doesn't want to be with us on a real relationship level. Instead of remembering this is about him being on a different page and not something we should ever take personally. But if we can't see it objectively, and a little part of us dies every day that we remain with someone who isn't there. See, that's my concern here. See, if he is the one for you, if that's your fear, you'll know, because things will change. If the two of you are meant to be together, you will be. But only if both of you are eventually on the same page and are willing to do whatever it takes to make that happen, regardless of circumstances that you may be up against. The difficult part here is that there are no guarantees that he will ever want more than a friendship with you. What do you do with that part? I have known too many women, far too many women, who have waited too long, holding on to hope that a man would come around, only to find out the hard way that he wasn't going to get there after so much of their own lives were already wasted on this waiting, without being true to themselves about where they were really at, how much they were invested in their hearts, and how much they were able to be willing to settle for a friendship with someone they wanted so much more of a relationship with. We're all different, so each one of us has a different reality of what someone means to us and what it's worth to have them in our lives. My best advice is always to keep living your own life. Keep focusing on you and creating a beautiful life for yourself, apart from this man who means so much to you, so that what he does or doesn't do fades into the background of your life instead of being the main focus. Keep your options open, remembering to only commit to him as much as he's committing to you, which means that you have strong boundaries around what a friendship relationship looks like, and that you don't cross those lines unless he clearly lets you know by his actions, more than just any words, that he's ready for more and wants to have a real relationship with you. See, that way you protect your beautiful heart from any more pain and heartbreak that you've already been through, while still remaining open to whatever love has in store for you. You deserve to be loved just the way you are, and if he's there in the end, that's wonderful. But if he's not, then know that there is someone else who will be, someone who will love you for who you are and be on the same page as you and want the same thing as you. And you know something? You may find that through this whole process, you discover that you don't see him the same way anymore. Fear is there for a reason. It's just a matter of tapping into what it's trying to tell you. Listen to it. Hear what's at the root of that fear, and then explore it to see if that gives you any further clarity. Give yourself a time frame if you want to see if you can be friends with him. Set a limit for yourself. Put it on the calendar, a week, a month, whatever you want to start with. I have a feeling you're going to know really clearly whether or not you still want to be friends with this guy after you've had a chance to see what that actually looks and feels like. You know in your heart what's the best decision here for you, even if you can't see it right now. And remember, this doesn't have to be so complicated. You can always change your mind, and you can always do something different. Know that you are so not alone here, and that ultimately, if he's on your page, you're going to know. And if he's not, you're much better off knowing this too. It's always remembering the reality of what is versus what we would like it to be that gets us through this with our hearts intact. Fantasy versus reality. Always come back